everyone, welcome back to KXAN Live. I'm Esmeralda Zamora and we have our Simple Health segment again on this Wednesday afternoon with our KXAN's Jose Torres. Jose, how are you doing today?
Thank you, Esme. I'm doing great. Weather's a little humid, but it's good.
A little gloomy, the weather out there, but we have an awesome story to share, right, Jose?
Yeah, I've been following this man's journey. His name is Cameron Carlin on Instagram for more than a year. He has an amazing story to tell, so I wanted to invite him to join us for a conversation about health and how sometimes we overcomplicate things, but really, when you're about to hear his story, and it's an amazing transformation story. So welcome, Cameron. Welcome with us.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
All right, so you have an amazing story to tell. You went from barely running a mile, and this weekend you're going to run your first ultra marathon. How did that all happen?
Yeah, back in January of 23, I just decided that I needed to change and get healthy and lose some weight, and really felt there's a community of followers that follow Bare Performance Nutrition up in Round Rock, and they really challenged people in 2023 to pick something hard to do and challenge yourself to prove yourself right. So I thought that was an interesting concept because most of the time we're trying to prove others wrong, but the simple switch of that phrase to prove yourself right. So like, I'm not doing it for somebody else, I'm doing it for me, and I'm proving to myself that I can do it. So initially my hard choice was to run a half marathon. So I started training in January of 23 and ran that half marathon in April, and just kept going from there, and did multiple races in 23, and then multiple races here in 24. Did my first marathon in February with the Austin Marathon, and then now I'm going to do a 50K Ultra this weekend.
And we have some video, Jose, that you shared with me of his before and afters, and that's just amazing how you look right there.
Yeah, tell us how much did you weigh in that picture?
So the picture, I started at 260 pounds, and then I'm at 220 pounds. So 40 pounds lost, a lot of muscle gain in that process as well. But yeah, I mean, you really just start baby stepping it. And, you know, when you're learning how to run, you're not going to run a mile right off the bat. You're going to have to run a little bit, walk a little bit, run a little bit, walk a little bit. And each day you get better, and we call it like brick by brick. Each day you get better and you get stronger. You build up your endurance, and the next thing you know, you're running 20 miles like I ran 2 weekends ago for a training run. So over your path here of focusing on health, you've learned a lot about nutrition and workouts. In your opinion, is health simple, or do we overcomplicate things? What do you think? I think we tend to overcomplicate things. What I learned is that you have to really And so sometimes we tend to say we're too busy to do something, but if you dedicate some time and you make it important, you know, you'll find those little successes and little wins. So for me, I found out that, you know, what time of the day can I put energy into myself, and that's not going to impact family time. So that's early in the morning. So I'm up at 4:30 in the morning, and I am running or working out, and I do that consistently 5 days a week because I know that my kids, my wife, they're sleeping and I'm running. So I'm not impacting family time. So yes, it's hard to get up when you don't want to get up in the morning, you want to sleep in. But you know, every day, if you wake up with that attitude of, you know, I'm going to do this for me, I'm going to stay committed, stay consistent. Consistency compounds over time. You might not be consistent right off the bat, but you just keep pushing yourself, keep reminding yourself to stick to the plan and trust yourself and don't give up.
This journey, has it influenced your life outside of your fitness world?
Yeah, I think a lot of us, you know, I'm 43 now. I think a lot of us men, you know, we are very career focused. We tend to not have a lot of friends. And so what I've learned through this process is letting other people into my life and surrounding myself with like-minded men that have really motivated me and poured into me. And it just makes me want to get better and want to keep pushing myself. And I think, that's on both. I think women need friends, men need friends. It's the same on both sides. But really good friends that you can trust, that will challenge you to be better than the day before, and help lift help lift each other up. And I think that's what I want to do as well within my friendships is, we're here to lift people up, celebrate them, keep motivating them, pushing them. And, I was one of those guys that was just like, I'm just going to be resigned to be an overweight guy, and I'm never going to be healthy or thin. But that doesn't have to be the case. And I think you just give yourself a little bit of a confidence boost that you can do it. You just have to put in a lot of work. It's not easy. It's not going to be just miraculous overnight. It was, I'm almost in my 2 years with this process, and still learning, still growing, and still losing weight.
And before we jump into the questions on the ultra marathon that you are going to be doing pretty soon, I want to talk about how your children see this change. What are their reactions to knowing that their dad is waking up every morning to go and run and eating healthy? Not all kids love healthy food. So how do they react to this?
Well, my son is getting into running. He likes to run around the house, and so we're going to do our first run together. We're doing a turkey trot for Thanksgiving, so he's pretty jazzed about that. I have two of my girls. They have disabilities. They have achondroplasia, which is the most common form of dwarfism. So they are little people. So I just really look at them, and I want to be good for them and to show them that they can do anything, because they do have limitations because of their height, but they're just like all of us. They can do things and do big things, and I want to show them that they can do big things. And so they're my inspiration. And but yeah, it's much easier chasing around 4 kids when you're healthy. You have a much more stamina and energy than I did before.
So, what was your life like prior to these, before you started this journey 2 years ago? What was it like?
I mean, I'm a professional, so long hours at work, and then raising 4 kids and being married, and just eating, right? I mean, I think stress plays a part of that. I think I can say I'm a stress eater, to be honest. When the stress ramps up at work, I turn to food. And so really through this process, I've learned that when the stress rises, I turn to other things like running or working out. And I found out that the days that I don't work out, I don't run, I don't have a great day, right? So it's kind of flipped the switch of like, my days are predicated on me working out and running. It's part of my lifestyle now. It makes me have a better day, and I feel better doing that. And I think, everybody's afraid to start because it's hard and it hurts and your body aches and pains. But I think once you get consistent and it's part of your lifestyle, you crave it. It's like, I want to do it. I want to run. It might hurt for a little bit, but once I'm done, I'm like, yeah, I ran 10 miles this morning and I feel great. So it's kind of that endorphin rush. So.
And sometimes you do that before work. I see your stories on like, yeah, I ran 10, 13 miles this morning. Now I'm off to work.
Yeah, so everything is like my training hours are in the morning, so everything's in the morning. So I'm running anywhere between 5, typically during the week, 5 to 7 miles are my training runs during the week. Weekends are the long runs. So Saturday we're doing the long run trainings, which you start off by working your way up to 12, 13 miles. And 2 weeks ago, our last long run training session was 20 miles. And then you start the taper, and then we have the race. So, but yeah, there's people that it works different times. I have friends that work out at night and run late at night. I have friends that run right after work. For me, it just works in the morning to get it done before I go off to work. And it just allows me to have more family time when I do come home. I live up in Round Rock, so it takes me about an hour to get home from work. So by the time you get home, you have dinner, kids are in bed, and then you want to spend time with your wife. So my time for me is in the morning.
Wow. So talk to us about this ultra marathon. When is it happening? Where is it happening? And how has the journey been leading up to it?
Yeah, so it's the Lifetime Austin Rattler. It's in Burnett, Texas. It's going to be on Saturday. So it's a 50K, so 31 miles I think is the official. But we're going to be doing 3 10-mile loops on Saturday. Once I ran the half marathon, I wanted to do a full marathon. And prior to doing that, we were like, there's a couple half marathons we signed up for. And my friend Nick, who runs with me, we're like, let's go sub 2. So we trained to do a sub 2 half marathon, which we met our goal by 1 minute back in December of last year at the San Antonio Rock and Roll half marathon. And then we did the 3M Austin half marathon in January, which we broke another time record that we set. And then we did our full marathon in February. So coming off the marathon, trail running, ultra running is becoming really popular. Let's try to do something like that. It's going to be crazy. We've never done anything of this magnitude. So we signed up and we started training 18 weeks ago.
Wow.
What are you expecting with this being your first ultra marathon? I mean, I know you've done your research, but what are you expecting and what's the goal for Saturday?
I mean, our goal is to finish, but realistically, we're trying to do it. I think our goal is to stay around 5 miles an hour. So we're looking at a 6-hour run time plus probably 30 minutes of when we're doing the transitional change between the loops. So about 6.5 hours. That's kind of where we're thinking we're going to end up, but really anything can happen. One, it's outside, it's a trail, it's going to rain this weekend, so weather is going to play into that. It's also humid. So our expectation is just to go out and have fun and just finish. I think that's when you're racing for what we learned when we were doing the sub 2 hour, running a time goal is super stressful. And you have to manage the race, and you're really locked in on trying to get the time that you want. So you miss out on all the excitement on the outskirts, right? You're so focused on the time. So I find that I just enjoy running just to run and just to be able to see the crowd, interact with people, have fun, and just finish, not necessarily concentrate on finishing in a time frame.
Yeah, and I know we kind of skimmed through this question, but tell us what initiated this transformation. What was the start of this change for you?
Really, I will say, like, I saw this community of people in Austin with Nick Bear, who's the founder of Bear Performance Nutrition, and with this go one more mindset and really challenging yourself. And, I just kind of watched from the sidelines for a couple of years. And then in 23, when they did this Prove Yourself Right kind of initiative to really get the community activated, I just kind of jumped in and said, I want to do this. I think it's time. It was kind of that catalyst of like, I didn't want to sit on the sidelines anymore and watch. I wanted to be involved in part of it. And that's when I launched my Instagram page and kind of shared my story online, which is just kind of an accountability measurement for me. But what I've learned in the process is my story has helped others improve their lives and give them motivation. And that's probably the most meaningful, is that my story is helping other people change their life too. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, because, running a mile can be intimidating or overwhelming for somebody who hasn't done it. What kept you going in the beginning?
I think in the beginning, it's like we were running, and you're like, when you go from not doing anything to running, you lose weight pretty quickly, right? And you're like, well, this is cool. I'm seeing the transformation, the scale's going down, and that's kind of your initial motivation. What gets harder is when the weight stops falling off. And everybody's going to hit that period of time because your body's going to adjust to the cardio that you're doing, and you're not going to lose any weight. And that's when I transitioned and said I needed a coach to help me get through this, because there was a time where I plateaued. And so I hired a coach who worked with me. We did online coaching and set up a workout program, and really was my kind of base, really helped me get over those months of nothing going on. And that's just because running stresses your body out. You tend to not lose weight when you're running. You'll lose some initial weight, but then you kind of plateau because your body's just kind of stressed out all the time. So incorporating strength training and weightlifting into your training program has helped. But that's when you have to really dig deep and like trust the process. And there's months of trusting the process with nothing going on. And then all of a sudden it starts happening and everything starts falling off. And it's like a domino effect of like everything starts falling into place. But a lot of people, and me included, when you plateau, we just got to give up. It's like, I'm working out just as hard every day and nothing's happening, I'm not going to do it anymore. And that's where most people fall in that trap of like, I'm just going to give up. But consistency compounds over time. If you push through those like plateau, and you'll come out on the other side like amazing. Like, so 23 was a crazy year. Like I lost a lot of weight, plateaued for months. So through, lost the majority of the weight through April, then really nothing's happening for the rest of the year. And in November, December, I lost the remaining 10 pounds to get to my 40-pound weight loss goal. So you learned a lot through those months of nothing going on, but like knowing you keep working, you keep after it, and then your body kind of just catches up.
So it teaches you a lesson about being patient, because in life you do have to be patient, because you don't get everything you want. You have to work hard for it.
Yeah, I'm not a patient person, so I learned a lot about just taking a deep breath, being patient, trusting the process, trusting my coach, trusting my friendship group that, saying keep going, don't give up. That's why, I'm a proponent of like, hey, if you're, get a coach, invest in yourself, spend the money, get a coach, because at least somebody that's neutral in the background that can help push you through some of those tougher months where you feel like nothing's happening. But everybody's body is different, so you have to like play around with the calories you're eating and play around with what lifting you're doing. And I know, Jose, you work out, you can understand that as well. Like what works for me may not work for Jose. And so you just got to figure that out over time. But, to say that, I'm almost 2 years into this journey and I haven't stopped. And what's helped me not stop is always having something on the horizon. So having this race this weekend, I'm already scheduled to do the Austin Marathon again in February. Then I've signed up for a 50-mile race in April.
Wow.
So always having something on the horizon. And it may be months for that thing. I mean, of course, this feels like it's compounded. Like we're having all these things happen so fast. But having something that you're working towards, having a goal in mind. So I'm excited for this weekend. I'm excited that my training is done and we get ready to run. It's been hot this summer, Jose.
Even this fall, it's been very hot.
Just because you're running at 5:30 in the morning does not mean it's cool.
Right.
So I always said, like, look, running in the Texas summer is gonna be set me up for a cool fall, but the weather has not changed, Jose.
No, it teased us a little bit.
Us.
The mornings have changed, that's for sure.
A little bit, yeah. It's still a little humid, but.
So Cameron and I share the same trainer, the same coach.
Wow, that's cool.
And he's also doing the race with Cameron. It's also, his name is Ross Chern. And it's also Ross's first ultramarathon. I was speaking to him this morning about it. I'm like, you just have to surrender for that temporary period, because it's not going to be easy. The first, I don't know, maybe 20 miles or so, the endorphins are going to be in there, the runner's high will kick in. But then there's going to be a period where the pain's going to set in a little bit more, but you just have to surrender, because we know it's just like in life, challenges, pain is temporary.
Yeah, they always say when you're running a marathon, you hit the wall, and typically everybody's wall is different mileage, and some people hit the wall earlier, but I think when I did the Austin Marathon, mine, it was 23. It's mile 23, I hit the wall. And it was like, okay, there's 3 miles left, and you're going to have to just dig deep. And, Austin's infamous, last quarter mile is uphill. So that was a nice little corner surprise at the end. But, there's another runner that I know Jose follows as well. It's like, we should feel blessed to be able to feel the pain, right? We're in a position that we can feel the pain and we can go out and do these hard things, because there's some folks that can't do that, right? And, but yeah, at 43, I would never have thought that I would be running an ultra marathon this weekend. But anything's possible. So that's kind of fun.
And you have a community of friends that are going to join you on the race course.
Yeah. So there's a total of 5 of us running together. So it'll be a fun time.
You can push each other.
We can push each other, yeah. It's, they always say running's kind of a singular sport, like you're running by yourself, but it's really fun group activity. So, especially running the Austin Marathon, and you're running and you're passing people that and you're giving them shout outs and getting excited for them. It just is a really fun time.
That's awesome. Well, we're so excited for you, and we're happy that you were here to share your story with us and with all of our viewers. I'm sure that they're going to get a little inspired by hearing these words from you today.
Definitely.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Jose, for bringing him on and sharing his story. I do want to share with everyone that Jose did create an article on his story, and it's on our website, kxan.com. You can go to our website, read up. Jose, what are some things that are on here that we didn't get to talk about in this interview?
You'll get to catch up on Cameron's life journey and go a little bit more in depth about what sparked that journey of change, flipping the switch of transformation. And you'll enjoy it. A couple of coworkers read this story already and they found it inspiring. So I'm sure anyone who clicks on this story will feel the same way.
Yes, and we have pictures of him and his family. We have other photos of his before and afters. And we have even video, and this video will live on there too as well once we're done. Well, thank you both for joining me today on KXAN Live. It was a pleasure, and we will be back with Simple Health next Wednesday around 3 p.m. for everyone to join us. Thank you.